tax cut to the rich and to the big corporations, and we hope that corporations will pass it on in terms of higher wages. Yes, they might, or they may dividend it out, they may put it in their pocket, or they may buy a house in the south of France. If you actually wanted to help the workers, you would have stipulated in the law, we'll give corporations a tax cut, but 50% of it has to go to higher wages. The way they financed it was by raiding the blue states. Why? Because the Senate doesn't have any senators from the blue states. So they came up with a very convenient rationale. We'll raise money from the blue states and we'll give it to the red states. So New York, a blue state, California, a blue state, Jersey, a blue state, they are paying a penalty. We lost the deductibility of our state and local taxes, first double taxation in the history of the nation, which means the taxes you pay to the state and to the local government are then taxed by the federal government.
Right.
It increases our property tax roughly 20 to 25%. I think there's potential legal questions on that, equal protection under the law, due process under the law. If I passed a law in New York State that said Republicans pay one tax rate and Democrats pay another tax rate, and the Republican rate is higher than the Democratic rate, it would be ludicrous. That is in essence what they have done here.
Governor Cuomo, we know very well,
blue states get another.
All of us here live in a blue state that's being impacted. All of us are going to feel the pain of SALT going away. But at the same time, what you're describing sounds like a scenario of politics. These are the rules of the game. The majority wins, and the Republicans are in the majority. How do you put forth the case that this is actually unconstitutional?
No, because politics does not trump the law, right? You have the Constitution, you have the law. You have due process, you have equal protection. You can't use politics just because the majority controls to override the law. I'm a Democrat. I'm in a Democratic state. I can't say Republicans pay a higher tax rate. Too bad, Democrats are in the majority. It violates due process and equal protection. And the same applies to Congress. They're not above the law, right? We have a Constitution of the United States. We have a body of law. You can't violate that. You're not a king. You're not a monarchy. You live within the laws.
Yeah, I would. Let me ask you a couple of questions, Governor, and I'm so glad you can be with us. And I'm really not taking a side on this, but I guess one rejoinder to what you just said would be that you would see it as de facto discriminatory against blue state residents, but the law that limits the deductibility of state and local property taxes or state and local income taxes applies across the country, no matter whether it's a Democratic state or a Republican state. That's number one. But I'd like to get your answer to that. And then second, when we've debated this, people from low tax sort of heartland red states, whether it's Indiana or whether it's Iowa or whatever, they would say that there's a fundamental unfairness in allowing the taxpayer from New York or New Jersey or California to deduct so that they themselves then, on an equal amount of income, pay more federal taxes than we do.
Yeah, 2 points.
Right.
One, you can come up with a law that applies disproportionately. I come up with a law that says if you own a Cadillac, you will pay a higher tax. Yes, but I know that 80% of the people who own Cadillacs are Republicans. So there's a disproportionate application of the law. Second, in terms of people in one state against another state, there is no state in the United States of America that pays into the federal government more and gets back less than New York State. We send in $48 billion more than we get back. We subsidize every other state. This actually aggravates that injustice by having us pay now $16 billion more in the loss of the deductibility of state and local taxes. So we subsidize everybody else. Now, we are a richer state, so we pay a higher level of federal tax, but it's not even close as to the equity among the states. We are the #1 aggrieved state by getting back less than we send in. We subsidize every other state, and this aggravates that
Governor?
injustice.
We're out of time, but I've got
Yes.
one last quick question. Are you suing?
We're looking at the law right now because I think there are serious legal questions.
Governor, thanks so much for your time. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Happy holidays, Happy New Year.
You come from one of those states that Tyler was talking about, actually, Tillman. So what do you say to us who live here griping about the elimination of SALT?
I think the governor has a good point, okay? And you have a good point, Tyler, that why are you paying double? But that's just the way it is.
That's the way. Well, I'm getting used to that idea,
Yeah.
Tillman, because the governor made the point about double taxation, and that's the one that sticks in my craw, as my mother used to say, and that's the idea that very suddenly I am going to have counted X tens of thousands of dollars that I pay in tax to the state of New Jersey, one way or another. I'm going to have that counted as income. I can't use that income.
Right.
It's gone. It's spoken for. I owe it, or they're going to throw me in jail. So that's where the double tax gets to me, is that my taxable income just went up by the amount of tax I pay to another taxing authority. If I were lucky enough to pay that tax to a foreign country, I would get a credit. I would get a credit.
I would hate to think it was done to blue states, but maybe it was.
Well, it's been a long time issue that people have not have seen it as a subsidy to the high tax states. Anyhow, we got to move on because we got so much. It's been a fun hour. Big push to legalize sports gambling underway right now. Mr. Fertitta owns a casino. He owns a sports team. We'll talk about that.
When it comes to investing, looking from a fresh perspective can make all the difference. It can provide what we call an unlock, a realization that often reveals a better path forward. At Wells Fargo, it's our expertise in finding this kind of insight that has led us to become one of the largest investment and wealth management firms in the country. Discover how we can help find your unlock.
Using genetics and personalizing care is the way of the future, but allowing us to apply it to the care of the patient is really the task at hand now.
HSS is committed to improving patient care, and that's allowed us to dream of new solutions that involve both computer modeling and 3D printing, and the idea of personalized surgery is a way of taking that to the next level.
When you have a really traumatic injury, we have a short amount of time to get our patient to the hospital with good results. We call that the golden hour.
Evaluating patients remotely is where I think we have a potential to make a difference.
We would save a lot of lives if we could bring the doctor to the patient.
Verizon is racing to build the first and most powerful 5G network that will enable things like precision robotic surgery from thousands of miles away.
As we get faster wireless connections, it'll be possible to operate on a patient in a way that was just not possible before.
When I move my hand, the robot on the other side will mimic the movement with almost no delay.
Who knew a scalpel could work thousands of miles away?
brand new season of Billion Dollar Buyer kicks off on January 3rd. That's next Wednesday right here on CNBC. In the season premiere, Tillman visits Too Pretty, an athleisure company with a female empowerment message that packs a punch.
I'm a former fighter and full-time Olympic level boxing coach. A few years ago, I started Never Too Pretty, an athleisure apparel line. So good to see you.
Pleasure.
Oh, such a pleasure. You want to come up and...
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Come on.
I didn't know I was going to box today. I thought I was coming to buy some apparel. I've never done real boxing before. I'm just a street fighter.
Oh, woo! Okay. The brand carries halter tops, sweatpants, leggings, boxing gloves, hand wraps. Good.
I'm breaking a sweat.
Don't forget, new season of Billion Dollar Buyer premieres January 3rd, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, only on CNBC.
What would the connection of a product that she has be to your business? Why would you?
In my retail stores, buying the athletic wear. Athletic wear is so in right now. I mean, women put it on and wear it all day, and it's athletic wear today. It is so huge.
Yeah, right.
It is truly fashion today, and she has this great little company in California, and look to see if
we'll find out on January 3rd. We'll all be footballed out by then. We'll tune in on January 3rd to watch. So let's talk we'll tie it off here with the thought about gambling and professional sports. You are in both businesses. Is it inevitable? New Jersey's going to get approval to do it. Is it inevitable that we're going to have a lot of betting on sports in this country?
I think it's going to fall, and it's going to fall quickly. And right now, people don't understand, you can only legally bet on a sport in the state of Nevada.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's a federal law. The states would let you do it, some of them, but it's in front of the Supreme Court. I think it's going to change, and you're going to see New Jersey, Mississippi. You're going to start seeing all the states.
You're ready for that? You're ready for that change?
We are 100% ready for it, because why are states and the government giving away billions to all these offshore companies where people love to bet, people love to gamble? Why not take that as tax income, okay, and do it legally? Anything that's done illegally and everybody does it, we need to make it legal and get the tax dollars.
Get some tax dollars, and then maybe they can help me with my property.
But it's going to happen. It's going to happen.